Okay, welcome to our Wolf Moon ceremony. So excited that you guys are here. For everyone who's listening today who is not a part of Dragon Slayer and just got a ticket a la carte, I want to tell you a little bit about our Dragon Slayer community. It's a great place to come and process. We do this full moon event once every month. We also have a book club that we meet on. Hopefully you guys are reading your book because it's such a good one. And we have monthly processing groups as well. It's just a really great place to heal and grow and be with all of your emotions as you evolve on the spiritual journey. So more info about that will be in the replay email. For those of you here live today, I think it's important to have a pen and a paper, maybe a comfort object. I have a candle burning for us, some really great protection incense burning for us. I brought some cards because I felt like we were going to end with a card, but we'll see how it goes. And then I brought some sage, which I'm going to light now. And I just want everyone to take some big, deep breaths with me as we settle into this container. And we're going to call back our energy. So repeat out loud if you can. I now call back my power and energy from any and all beings, experiences, places, and objects, taking it from me with or without my consent. Big deep breath. So first of all, congratulations for surviving 2022. That was necessary to sit with and really be with ourselves. Like 2022. Let me just tell you the span of events for the collective community that we're a part of, okay? 2019 and 2020, we are kind of brought to that standstill of our own healing. We are really faced with everything because life stops, right? We're forced to go inside. We're forced to take a look. 21 and 22, we are going through the healing. 2021 was more about healing ourselves, discovering ourselves. But 2022, we come back and we've done the healing work, but then we realize a lot of people around us have not, which causes its own problems, right? So then we begin the purge cycle of all the things that don't serve us, which also creates deeper healing within us. But I want you to breathe because it's over. 2023 is the year when we take all of that healing and we apply it to our lives. We get to celebrate it. We get to be with it. We get to reap the benefits of it. And from January 12th until April 23rd, we are breathing peacefully. Not to say in April things are going to go array again, but this is really a time of calm. The universe is saying rest, nurture. I use that metaphor with the field a lot, right? So in the last little bit of 2022, we plucked all the weeds from our fields. We got all the shit gone. And now we're sitting with that spacious, wide open field. In March, we're going to plant all the seeds in it. But until March, we're kind of sitting steady. We're being with ourselves, observing, letting the calm kind of take over and really just enjoying life. Doesn't that feel nice? I love the timing of this wolf moon because we just ended the year. A lot of people jump on the resolutions train, and that's cool if you do. I'm going to say this though, and I've said it to you guys before, the seasons and the earth cycles are what we most resonate with as souls. And so January, winter, is a time for rest and recovery and hibernation. It's not necessarily a time to like go out and conquer the world. That comes in March and June. And then we start resting again in fall, in September and November. Okay, so right now it's okay to let yourself rest and to let yourself be. What I think the new year showed a lot of people was this almost panicky, like, did I leave it all behind? I really don't want to take any of this with me into 2023. And so this wolf moon gives us a chance to have that final release of all the things that we don't want to bring with us. And then we get to sit with that until January 12th when Mercury goes direct again. And January 12th is when things really start moving in our direction. The miracles start happening. So you still might be in it right now, and that's okay. Life is just showing you what's still not serving you. So today what we're going to do is we're going to get really clear on what we want and who we are. We're going to get really clear on what's not serving that version of ourselves. We're going to let it go. And we're going to start to call in that new vibration, that new desire, that new sensation that we want to carry with us. That makes sense. So how do we, and I think I'm going to do a couple of card readings today, but I'm actually going to start with one right now. And you're also going to need your pen and paper. We're going to do a little activity that I think is going to guide you into some of your deeper desires. I'm going to pull an inner child card for this group that's here. And I'm just going to ask, what is your inner child wanting to release or let go of today with this energy? So just big, deep breaths as you focus on the card. Oh, must be a very particular message today. Wow, these inner children are very particular. They're probably like, there's so many of you. How can I choose one? Goodness, I don't think I've ever taken this long for a card to fall out. Come on, little babies, what do you have to say? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we pulled Penelope, unworthy. This is what wants to stay behind, okay? Because I think that she's just tired. She's tired of feeling unworthy. She's done the work and she's ready to let it go. I'm going to read her in full just so each message for whoever it is, you guys can pull the words that resonate most with you. Hi there. My name is Penelope. Although I don't really know why my parents bothered naming me. Ever since I can remember, I have sat here alone. I must have come broken because my parents don't love me the way other kids' parents do. Penelope represents the feelings of unworthiness that may lie deep within. These underlying beliefs may occasionally get poked with human interaction, causing you to feel alone, unlovable, and low. When you pull this card, it's important to tune in with this part of yourself and reassure them, her, or him. All of us are born pure, perfect, powerful beings. It's our interaction with unhealed humans that create scars and thought patterns that aren't our own. The human mind does not perceive the magnificence of your soul within automatically. If you're feeling low and unworthy, it's important to seek help. You are so loved, so perfect, so pure, even if you can't see it right now. Breathe into the warmth and love that resides deep within you. And I want everybody to repeat this mantra. I am worthy here and now. At my core, I am light. So I know this one was a little bit heavier, but I want you to remember, this is what your inner child is saying. This belief no longer serves me. So this is a time for congratulating yourself. Your inner child's not here ruminating. They're not feeling unworthy. They're not like deep in this. You might have remnants of that in you still. And she's saying, enough. She's saying, I understand that I am worthy. I understand that I deserve the best. I understand that my miracles are coming. Any thoughts, doubts, fears that you have about your worthiness, I need you to leave behind. Take a deep breath. I think this is a really good spot for us to, I'm going to pause the recorded portion of this. As we step into looking at all the parts of ourselves we're going to leave behind, it's not just the things we might call bad or heavy. We can have some really good aspects of our identity that just no longer serve who we're trying to become, right? All of these different ways, all of these different ideas we have about ourselves may not be serving who we want to be. So the very first thing that I want you guys to reflect on today is what you desire to feel and experience this year. Think about the feelings. And I want you to write a couple down. I desire to feel, and I'll give you a couple, freedom, ease, bliss, healthy love, prosperity, wealth, timeless, calm, deep inner peace, grounding, powerful connection to source, God, divinity, trust, surrender. Now, this is where our minds and egos sometimes get in the way. We know we want to feel, let's just say, freedom and peace. Okay, I'll use those two words for the example. We know we want to feel freedom and peace. But our egos are these little tricksters. And so when we say we want to feel freedom and peace, they start talking and showing us all the pieces of ourselves that don't believe we're worthy of that. And we let these thoughts and words and ideas consume us, and they take over our feelings and emotions. If you want to feel freedom and peace, guess what? Pick one word off of your list right now. Pick it, get it in your mind, nod your head when it's there. Choose to feel it now. Right now, feel it. Okay, so here comes maybe Penelope unworthy. And she's saying, Tia, why are you smiling? Don't smile. Something's going to go wrong if you smile. You've been happy for way too long, Tia. Remember that bad thing you did, Diana? That's going to come back to haunt you. You have so much karma to deal with. Oh my goodness. You actually think you get to smile today? And here come all these little thoughts. Let me ask you a question. Does Source Universe ever want us to feel shitty? No. And if you think that Source Universe wants us to feel shitty, I encourage you to look into your relationship with Source a little bit more. So do you think that that's a true thought? All those little things that your ego might say, however they might show up for you. Do you think those are true thoughts? The things I was telling Tia and Diana? No. So in those moments, what we do is we say, whew, I hear that. I'm choosing to feel blank. And you come back to that feeling over and over again. It's the feeling in your body that creates things for you. But these words come in our mind and they swirl and they make everything dirty. And then we sometimes just go back to a place of numbing or neutrality. But if we want to feel inner peace, and we focus on just the feeling of inner peace, and for whatever word you chose, focus on that word when I say inner peace. If we chose to feel inner peace, and we're constantly obsessed with feeling inner peace, bringing the feeling of inner peace into us, and we're walking down the street or interacting with a friend, And we've been focused on inner peace for 3 days, and this friend starts to just vent this toxic sludge. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to say, oh, I got some inner peace going on here. I got to walk away from this. It's going to make it easier for us to say no to the things that we don't want. Does that make sense? It's going to be easier. Like the people I'm speaking to here right now, you've done the work. Our healing is never over, but you've done the work. You're not bypassing yourself. You're not saying this trauma didn't exist. You're saying, I've looked at it, I've been there, and I'm choosing something different now. And what I'm choosing is to feel this. We have these conversations. So for me, I've been going through this crazy transition. And for me, thank God for Taylor Swift. Can I just say that? Taylor Swift's song Karma has helped me so much, because I have, and you guys know this, I've said a million times, my biggest core wound is constantly thinking that I'm bad or wrong. And so when Taylor Swift's song Karma came out and she's talking about all these things that karma also was, it started to help me see that the universe was working in my favor. It started to help me see all the things that were going my way. So what's been happening for me is, you know, I released all these things, and literally, you guys, miracles have been happening for me every day. And I realized a couple of days ago, I haven't even been able to sit with and celebrate them and be in appreciation because I've been so scared. I have this little girl inside that says, Nikayla, every time this starts to happen, either you push it away or something goes wrong. And this is what I've done, is every time that voice comes on, I sit with it and I say, hey, I understand that's how you used to operate. What I'm choosing to operate from now is knowing and faith, worthiness and trust. And you have to get to know those voices and the way they show up for you. And you have to come back to, would Source put this idea in my head? Would Source say, and I love the way you corrected yourself earlier, Diana, when you were like, used to call yourself a hot mess and think who would have a hot mess. And instead you said, I am calling in somebody with the patience, love, and understanding for somebody with my particular quirks, right? That's what it's all about, is that verbal shift of there's nothing wrong. If life is going wrong, guess what? It goes wrong. It just does, right? It's how we choose to respond and empower ourselves through that. It's sitting with that voice that says, whoa, the universe would never create pain and destruction in your life. If this is happening, it's not about you. It's about, how can I move through this with the most love and grace and compassion, focusing what I want and desire to feel from here. Does that make sense? What I want and desire to feel from here is what I'll create as I keep focusing on that. And the way to make room for more of what you want is to calmly, compassionately nurture the ego. So many people talk about the ego death. And Shelly, what you were talking about earlier with being scared to let those parts of you go, that is so normal, because guess what? It's what's gotten us to where we are. 2 years ago, the thing I was releasing most was my survival instincts. But if I would have looked at my survival instincts and been like, you are a ratchet bitch, calm down, I would have created more trauma. Instead, I said, wow, thank you for your resourcefulness. Thank you for your ability to stand up for yourself. Thank you for your ability to move through life when you didn't have the things you needed. And now I'm choosing something different. I didn't condemn my need for surviving or my trauma or the ways my shadow showed up. I said, I see you. And this is what I'm trying to create now. Right? You've done the healing work. You have the tools you need. It's choosing to use them to your advantage every single day. It's less about, 2023 is no longer about all the other people. We've been doing that. It's our job of trust, saying, I'm here to honor me fully. And whoever comes along, cool. And whoever doesn't, cool. Because this is what I will allow into my life. And I'm very clear on that. And it's including those parts of us that used to include the other. And yes, it is hard. It is scary. It does take a lot of practice. It does take going out of your comfort zone. It's like starting the new routine at the gym. Nobody wants to wake up and go. Like there's very few people I know that haven't done it for years and that are just starting to focus on their body that don't dread going to the gym. Once I've heard from so many clients, once they get there, they're great. But getting themselves there is hell, because the old you didn't know physical movement. The old you didn't know honoring your body. The old you didn't know what it was like to have strength and energy and physical health. So until you experience that over and over again by building a consistent habit, it's going to be hard. And that old you that loved either to sleep in or watch TV after work or whenever you go to the gym, they still have a voice, and they're saying, but what about my nighttime soaps? Or what about my 8:30 wake up? And you have to say it. I'm choosing what's best for me, and what's best for me is to change that behavior. Because what I'm not changing, I'm still choosing. And it's really important to look at what you're still choosing in complacency. I have a client, and it's so funny. He has all of these things. He has people that cleans and cooks for him and does all of this stuff, but he always lets his bedroom get like disastrous with laundry and all of these things. And he does it because it's a comfort. When he was a child, his house was always cluttered. He always had things all around him. And he was talking about how hard it is. And I said, well, if that's what you want to keep creating, absolutely. Keep throwing your clothes on the ground. If you want to create something new, go get a laundry basket and a new shelf. And every day when you take off clothes or put laundry on it, go put it in the dirty clothes or put it on the shelf. And every day that you do that, put a big heart on your calendar. And it's not a goal. It's just a choice you're making that day. And every day that you make that choice, put the heart there. And when you see the heart on your calendar, just remember that's a day you showed up for yourself in love, in true love. And guess what? This man has gone 2 months with hearts every single day on his calendar, which means his room is clean. And it was excruciatingly uncomfortable for him because he didn't have the comfort. He got a weighted blanket. He had to find a way to feel things around him, to feel his own energy around him. But he did it. It was uncomfortable. It seems like a silly thing, right? But for him, it was such a deep wound. So that's the one way I can encourage you, not to set a goal, but to mark some way, shape, or form how the days that you are showing up in love for yourself, whatever that means. And if there's a day where there's no heart on the calendar, it's okay. It's not a big deal. You're not a terrible human. You're not unworthy. You just had a day where you couldn't or chose not to show up in love for yourself, right? But the point is all these things that you chose to release, that you're choosing to change. What I want you to do is understand that as we dedicate ourselves to ourselves in 2023, it's about an everyday commitment to show up in love for yourself. So if you're sitting there stewing, you've got to ask yourself, is this what I deserve? Somebody hurt your feelings and you let that consume you. And I don't mean not to feel it, but you let it, you know what I'm talking about when it consumes you. You have to ask yourself, is this really what I deserve? What I deserve is compassion. What I deserve is grace. What is it I deserve is kind words. What I deserve is ease. What I deserve is joy. So I've got to find that feeling within myself. And then you take the actions. You've already got the tools. You either set the boundary. Remember, boundaries are for you, not the other people. It's not, hey, you can't talk to me that way. It's, hey, if this kind of language continues, I'm going to walk away. Notice the difference there? It's what I'm going to do. It's not, hey, if you don't take out the trash, you don't love me. It's, hey, taking out the trash is a way that helps me in this relationship to offset all the things I'm doing. And if that's not something you need to do, you can do. I'll do it, but I need help and support. And so this environment will have to change if you can't show up for me in the ways that help me. Does that make sense? The boundaries are for us. They are not for the other people. If the other people choose not to listen to and hear our boundaries, it's again up to us to create change or choose not to change it, right? You got somebody in your life or something in your life that makes you feel like shit, and you're not choosing to change it, you're choosing to keep it. And that's what 2023 is all about, self-devotion. And I can tell you this, when you are in complete self-devotion, miracles happen because you are the divine. I think it's really easy, especially for you guys who have worked with me for so long, to like say, yes, I'm grounded. Yes, I'm heart-centered. Yes, I'm connected to the divine. And then 2 seconds later, you're telling yourself that you're a piece of shit. And maybe not in so many words, but in whatever words you do it in. But if you imagine God as whatever society portrays God as some higher being that's better than you, which I don't believe it is, but if that's still how you portray God, and you know there's divinity within you, why are you treating yourself in any other way than a divine? With the foods you eat, with the words you digest, with the feelings that consume you? Why are you allowing any of that? If you truly understand your divinity, and I know you do, I know you all do. I've seen it in you with the way you carry yourself. Does that make sense? One of the mantras that I post a lot is, I am God or goddess or divine, and I act accordingly. What if we all made a commitment starting today to act as if we really believed we were God, divinity? To really understand that we deserve that grace, compassion, love, even that sacred devotion. Pray for yourself the way that you would pray for another. Feed yourself the way that you would feed your child. Care for yourself the way that you would care for your best friend. Speak to yourself the way that you would speak to a loved one. Hold yourself up on the pedestal, because this inner child that still has remnants of unworthy, they have put in the work. And it's time to say, I trust you. I trust you to take your place on the throne. I trust you to walk and talk and be in love and compassion. I trust you. It's really what it all comes down to. We can't just do all this work and not put it to the test. Lexi was talking earlier about being back in the dating pool. That's one of the best ways to see how far you've come healing. Where does my codependency still show up? Where do I still lower my standards? Where do I still doubt myself? You go on a date, you see the things that come up, and you're like, okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause and I'm going to look at all this information and I'm going to make the changes and I'm going to try again. Maybe for you, it's with friendships. Maybe it's with earning money, whatever it is. You say, okay, I've done all this work around safety and security. Can I trust myself with money? I think so. So I'm going to put that to the test. Maybe you go and make a large purchase and all of a sudden you're riddled with anxiety and you're like, okay, cool. Whew. We talk to that inner child. Hey, I know in the past that you've spent money when you didn't have it and you didn't value yourself and you didn't really believe it was coming back to you. And so I get why these feelings are coming up, but hey, we've done the work and we are worthy and it's coming back to us. And so let's breathe and enjoy what we already spent our money on. Right? Does all that make sense? Okay, so before we end with a little visualization and card pull, I'm just going to pause this. So I want everyone right now to take a big deep breath. We don't have to do anything crazy to release this. We can take some notes on it, right? But what it's really going to be is focusing on what we do want to create. And then what the universe does is it shows us. It shows us the little things that are like pulling us back from that. So if you say you want to create healthy connections, you focus on the feeling of having healthy connections, what it feels like in your body. And then you still listen to your body and what comes up as maybe you go on your first date, or maybe you find a person at the coffee shop that you asked to be your friend. Maybe your third chakra suddenly says no. And you say, okay, I'm going to trust that. Lesson learned. Maybe your third chakra says yes, and you start hanging out or you go on a date. And then in the middle of the date, you realize that the person was rude to the server. And you're like, oh, that doesn't feel good for me. So I'm going to be done. But I really enjoyed this, this, and this. Right? And we slowly learn how to trust ourselves. And we slowly learn how to focus on what we want. If I want a healthy connection, if I want an overflowing bank account, if I want to feel bliss, we focus on that, not what we're trying to release. The universe will do that for us. But I need you to be almost obsessed with these things that you want to feel and create, to the point where nothing else matters. Because everything else will matter. It will come into play, but you don't have to control or focus on it. You can trust yourself. You can trust that good things are going to happen. You can trust that you're going to be wise enough and discerning enough to say no to the things that don't serve you. That's what this year is all about. It doesn't have to be suffering. Of course, there's going to be hard shit, but are we going to sit in that shit and go back to our old stuff? Or are we going to move forward based on what we want to create? I know what I'm doing. So right now, look at those words of what you want to create and feel. Let them rush through your entire body. I need them to take up every inch of space, every centimeter of space, every small little atom particle of space. If you want to go a step further, grab a whole bunch of sticky notes or papers and write, I choose to feel, and put all these words all over your house and car and laptop and everywhere you go. I choose to feel. Put it on your home screen of your phone. Make it an alert that goes off on your phone every hour if you have to. Become absolutely obsessed with what you want to feel. Notice how I didn't say a specific number. Notice how I didn't say that you're going to get married. I didn't put all the details in it. This is where trust comes in. This is where trusting that life happens for you. And if you're putting out into the universe, I want to feel bliss, Everything the universe brings into your life is going to help you create and feel bliss, but it can't always be the way your ego wants it. An overflowing bank account I've seen also come in the forms of one of my clients, just her bills were radically reduced. She didn't get a huge increase in money. Her bills were radically reduced. She wouldn't have planned for that. But she was like, I want 30K a month. And I was like, let's switch it to an overflowing bank account. And then out of nowhere, she applied for student loan forgiveness. They forgave all of her student loans. She did all of these things, and all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I didn't make any more money, but I have so much more money, because she stood out of the way. It doesn't always look how we think it's going to. We focus on what we want to feel. Making sense? Okay, that's going to be your tool moving forward. And you can always go to the community thread. You can ask for questions. You can put prayers out there. You can ask the group to envision you in that feeling, whatever you need to do. That's what we're here for. Now, I want everyone to get really clear. Get in touch, get in connection with your higher self. This card's going to be a message from our higher self. We started with our inner child. We're moving to our higher self. Cards show us the magic beauty, all the things that we need to know moving forward from this meeting. Oop, there it is. We got Dakini of Infinite Light. I'll post this picture in the group also. And I want you to breathe in. I want you to let yourself receive whatever words are meant for you. Seek and you shall find. Find the teachers and the teachings which feel pure to your heart, but remember, it is the inner truth of you that will ultimately set you free. Do not give your power away, but do trust in a greater guiding wisdom at work in all aspects of your life. Ask for help from enlightened spiritual beings in any matter of concern, and help shall be granted. Believe all problems can be resolved, and a more graceful life experience is opening for you now. A Dakini is a supernatural feminine being who inspires spiritual practices, guides one to actualize siddhis or spiritual abilities, and teaches the inner path of awakening. She protects us from negativities and restores our vital energies. She teaches us how to act with wisdom. She can be a demanding teacher, requiring us to reflect upon the mysteries she presents through our dreams, inspirations, and meditations, then proceed to unravel them. As we do so, we develop our inner capacities and become stronger. These wild feminine creatures can be gentle or fierce, or a combination of both. When she appears in a reading, travel your path and explore your questions about spirituality and awakening with confidence, for much progress can be made as you do so. Some Dakinis are fully enlightened, whilst others are still in their process of awakening. Truly enlightened beings have the ability and desire to assist all other beings to enlightenment. They know how to lead us along the path because they have walked it before us. Beings of lesser development may or may not have such helpful intentions, but even if they do, how can they show us the way when they themselves have yet to discover it? Truly enlightened beings can and do help us in many ways, from solving problems we encounter in our daily lives to ensuring we are taking the most beneficial steps on our spiritual path. They are our spiritual families, guiding and assisting us from a place of love and skillfulness. Marcisi is connected with the rays of light from the sun. She is sovereign over all lesser beings. Her many gifts include the capacity to guide one into enlightenment, to heal and repair which has been separated or broken, and to provide protection during vulnerable transitions. Whenever we venture beyond the known worlds, and also from misfortunes and negativities of all kind, including being manipulated, controlled, and exploited, she resonates with material abundance and is associated with providing prosperity we need to live a happy, long life. The divine goddess of the sun brings lights on all levels. We need light to see clearly, otherwise we feel confused as to which steps to take. This is just as true on emotional and psychological levels as it is physical. Light helps us see what is happening rather than making assumptions. When we see what is happening clearly, we have the opportunity to make the best choices. The oracle of the Dakini of infinite light augurs an increase of light in your life. This can include a lightening up after a difficult time, an increase of clarity from a helpful, healing, higher perspective, a positive path opening up through a troublesome time. Her appearance signifies sacred victory. Call upon her and do not give up. Sacred victory. How powerful is that? Sacred victory. Our higher self is here to say, I am guiding you into the highest and best for all. And this is the thing, and especially as we go through these next few months of teaching and awakening, and the material I've already given you guys to move through and grow, you're going to see that you are divine consciousness, that you are the one creating it all, that you are the one leading the way, that you are the one awakening to your full potential. You are the light. You are the sun. You can't be dimmed except for through your own thoughts and beliefs. That's the only thing keeping you stuck. Because when you embody worthiness and confidence, when you embody what you desire and want to feel, that is all you say yes to. When you're in complete self-devotion, you're not afraid to say to someone, I don't feel comfortable with this. This isn't for me. You're not afraid to say, no, you're not for me. You're not afraid to say, I deserve something better. And when you say those words and walk behind them with confidence and comfort, the universe says, you're right. And here's more good things. So I want us all to end on this note, hand on your heart, hand on your belly. And I want you to say out loud, I am so good. Show me. I am so worthy. Show me. I am so divine. Show me. Beautiful. Thank you guys for joining me for this amazing full moon ceremony. I'm going to keep you guys here for just a second.